Paul and Bill, welcome back to the program.
Well, thanks for having us.
Well, guys, up front here, I want to give some credit to both of you specifically, and also to the broader team and the efforts by the Arzaga team to see this deal put together, as well as our key consultants off stage. I would point out that this is a notable milestone and a big piece to a bigger strategic puzzle that is being executed on. But why don't you give us your thoughts? Paul, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Well, it's a big piece of our strategy. As you know, we've talked about how we want to be the premier ISR operator in the U.S. And by bringing in the assets that Azarga brings with it, we will see. We'll have a well-known set of properties that will be able to execute on that larger picture plan of becoming that premier ISR operator. It's exciting. It's we still got a lot of work ahead of us before we get to close, but it's an exciting time and looking forward to getting it done.
Bill, any comments that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think it really just rounds out the first major part of our business plan, in that we had established, our short-term aspects in the company in terms of production visibility, being in Texas with the two licensed plants that we have, and currently one of them's under renovation. Should be completed within the next 9 months or so for under $1 million. And then also with our very large long-term package of New Mexico assets with over 100 million pounds in all categories combined, and dominant position in the biggest uranium district in the U.S. out there. So what Azarga brings us really is that time period in between the two, in between the short term in Texas and the long term in New Mexico, and it bridges that gap very nicely with the South Dakota Dewey Burdock project, as well as the Gas Hills project in Wyoming. And Dewey is almost completely permitted, right on the cusp of full permitting. But Wyoming being such a favorable state, who knows? Gas Hills with their favorable PEA, it's not inconceivable that the permitting there could run up and be hot on the heels of Dewey, if not right in the same time frame. And their land position in South Dakota is such that the mineralization associated with Dewey is quite likely to be expanded. They've spent most of their time and effort on bringing those up to speed. So the Dewey Terrace and Aladdin projects in East Wyoming really haven't seen much work, but they're very, very promising. Lots of drill holes with good mineralized intercepts in it. So the upside's really, really fantastic there as well. Fills in that middle ground, and gives us a very important presence in Wyoming, which Wyoming and Texas are the two places to be for ISR in the U.S. So.
And I'll add that with those properties, also with the recent work they've done on Gas Hills, Gas Hills has been looked at as being a potential ISR target. Cameco has a rather large position there. They've already fully licensed and run a full EIS on it, so it means that Gas Hills is well established and well quantified, so it should create a more streamlined permitting and licensing process as well.
This fits in really well, and I like how Bill put it with long-term assets, short-term assets, and medium-term assets. It really does slot in quite well. I want to ask Bill here, give us just a brief overview of the transaction details and what Encore looks like pro forma here.
Here again, I think their assets are underappreciated, and certainly when you put that in the context of the ISR team we have at Encore, as ability to really rationalize those assets and get them into production, it's a value-added proposition. But I think pretty clearly the metrics on this should propel Encore considerably higher than it is now, just because it does complete the pipeline. It's a very, very compelling pipeline of production, and it sees us within the next 3 or 4 years of getting up to that 3 or 4 million pound a year production potential, and en route to our 5 million that we've stated we'd like to get to per annum. And certainly a key step in the further consolidation. It fits nicely on our first M&A of Westwater, where we got the two licensed plants in Texas and a good portion of the New Mexico assets. It just continues our strategy, makes us larger. Certainly a key component of this is that it'll put us in very good position to uplist to the NASDAQ or the NYSE Amex. Most likely the NASDAQ. We've had discussions regarding that, and certainly we qualify. So we'll definitely be looking to do that on the heels of this transaction.